Hey y'all! Today we're at Camp Blanding. We're looking at the memorials. They have a lot of beautiful memorials here. Do you show them the statue?
Yeah, get ready to show them. So we're at the museum here. We're just gonna kind of show a few things here. I don't even know if you can read that.
It's really bright out today.
Yeah, it's bright sun, perfect weather. But some of these are pretty cool. So Camp Blanding is it's a military base. It's a small one. It's a training facility primarily for the Florida National Guard, SWAT teams, police. We did see Daytona's SWAT team is here training. Pretty neat. A lot of history here, obviously. There's Alaska on their map. We're just going to kind of walk around here. We're not going to take a picture of the main gate entrance because that might be a violation. But we're right by the gate. We're right next to it. Beautiful day. So from the campground, it's about 1.5 miles, maybe a 2-mile bike ride. So that's what we did.
It's the perfect weather for a nice bike ride.
A nice bike ride, yeah.
It's a beautiful view. You get to see the lake all the way around when you're riding your bike, so you can't beat that.
That Kingsley Lake, as I stated in another video, is a crater-made lake, and it's perfectly circular. It's weird, but beautiful. I do think it has a civilian side and a military base side, and the campground is right on the water. There's 3 different campgrounds. They're like mini campgrounds, and they're all linearly right around the rim of the lake. It's gorgeous. We're definitely in our top 3 considerations for snowbirding.
Check that out.
Some of this old equipment.
Pretty cool.
You see a placard or anything that tells you what this is?
Not for this one, actually. This one over here does.
This kind of looks like now I'm not a connoisseur or an expert on these things, but kind of looks like a howitzer type thing.
Yep.
Look at these old tires. They're not really pneumatic tires, they're just rubber. Massive.
'66 Infantry Division.
Camp Blanding.
Field howitzer. I guess you don't have to worry about getting nails in these tires.
No. I mean, they're falling apart now, but what are they? Nearly 100 years old or more? Crazy.
And here's one for the 63rd Infantry Division. That's beautiful.
Looks like this stone got knocked over. Oh, they were in Ardennes.
And we're so thankful to all the service members. We're so blessed for the things they have done for us. We should always keep them in our thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely.
Brave people.
I'm gonna guess on this one.
Okay.
No, I'm not gonna guess because I'm gonna guess wrong.
It's a tank. How about that?
Well, I got that part. Yeah, I don't know what this is.
Yeah, the signs are a little hard to read.
They are. They're fading. They need replaced.
But I bet somebody watching knows what they are.
Yep, somebody does.
And you can drop it in the comments so we can all know.
Hey, and by the way, we are reading through all the comments. It just takes a while for us to get through them all, and we want to recognize all the people that are
supporting us, showing us love. We are so appreciative, so blessed, and we are thankful for every one of you. People just need to keep supporting each other and lifting each other up. That's what we're here to do. So thank you all.
And we have seen your comments about getting some moderators. We're working on that today. We're still trying to navigate the page and figuring out how to get them picked up as moderators. We're still trying to find out how to reach out to people that comment when there's so many, because we started writing them all down, and literally there's thousands, and it's just, you can't do it. So I feel Jeremy's pain when he's like, man, you can't respond to everybody. American ex-prisoners of war.
Not by arms alone.
Gainesville's on there.
We exist to help those who cannot help themselves. I love that.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it. It's shaded, so it's hard to see. We're missing some of these over here. Oh, look at this old gas pump.
That is cool.
Now, I'm going to take a stab at this one because I think I know what this one is. They call this a half track. It's half track, half wheeled. This particular model. Here we go. Ah.
Oh, you can read this one too.
You can read it. It is a half track. M3, a personnel carrier. 40,000 of these were made. And we missed another one over here. Here's another one.
I wish you could get in them, but you're not allowed to climb on them.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Here's another monument. Infantry Replacement Training Center, Camp Blanding, from 1943 to 1945. I am a soldier. I fight where I'm told, and I win where I fight. General George S. Patton, Jr.
Nice.
And General Patton also commanded the 2nd Armored Division out of Fort Hood. And he's the reason why they wear their unit insignia, the unit patch, on their heart. It's the only patch in the military of the Army I can speak to that wears their unit patch on their chest. And General Patton was the reason to put it close to your heart. Yeah, that's a big one. An Air Force plane. Possibly a C-130. I'm guessing. Low clearance. C-47. Used to transport personnel and cargo, towing gliders, and dropping paratroopers into enemy territory, as during invasions of Sicily, Burma, and France. Yeah, look how big it is.
Wow.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Really takes you back to the time, and you just feel so teary-eyed and grateful.
Presented in grateful appreciation by the 508 Parachute Infantry Regiment Association from 42 to 46. To the officers and men who served with the 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment, whosoever dispersed activated at Camp Blanding, Florida on 20 October 1942. They were later attached to the 82nd Airborne Division and participated in the parachute assaults into Normandy on June 6, 44, and into Holland on September 17th of 44, They fought in the Ardennes in December of 44 and in Rhineland in May of 45. On VE Day, they were chosen as the honor guard for Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Forces. 4 years, 1 month, and 4 days after they came into existence, they passed on to the history at Camp Kilmer, New Jersey in November of 46. Hats off to the paratroopers. There's another paratrooper memorial. I won't read all of these, but you kind of get the gist. For those of you that were Army, paratrooper, airborne. I think that building is, yeah, that's an inside museum inside too. We got to go in there.
Oh, yeah. We still got to finish seeing stuff out here.
Ooh, this might be a long video.
There's a couple more things out here. You got the Purple Heart, awarded for wounds or death as a result of an act of an opposing armed force, dedicated to all those who shed their life's blood in the cause of freedom.
Ooh, that gives me teary eyes.
I know, I'm walking through here and I'm really getting emotional.
I think those are the boats they launched, but I don't know. I don't know that they had wheels on the ones I'm thinking of.
I've never seen one of those. Truck. Amphibian.
Amphibious. 2.5 ton 6x6 amphibian DUKW. Wow. Cool. That road you see in the background, that's off the base. And that's the gate entrance right over yonder.
Cargo truck.
See a Hummer coming in.
Another half track.
Looks like another half track. Yep. This is where the fuel cans would go. Called them jerry cans. Oh, there's one. This one has one on it. I'd like to get one of those on the Jeep. That'd look cool.
Yeah.
This looks like a smaller howitzer style gun. 75 millimeter. A 155 howitzer.
One over there.
Man, these,
Those tires still look pretty good.
yeah, a little more modern. Those sandbags have seen their day, haven't they?
Definitely.
I think they've
But
been
look,
there.
They're still holding up.
They've been there a while. Oh, this is like a truck you'd see on MASH.
Yep. The ambulance truck.
3/4 ton, 4x4.
I still like
Ambulance.
watching MASH.
Oh, manufactured by Dodge. 26,000 made. Go Dodge.
Get the spare tires.
Oh, that's cool how they built it into the body like that.
I wish you could open up the back.
Can you see in there?
Not really.
No.
It's kind of cloudy.
So the military marks their truck. So this would be the 106th MedVac unit or headquarters. Second vehicle. Like they probably had more than one. They mark them. All right, we're gonna call that video 1, and we're gonna do a video 2 inside. We'll see you then. Okay, we're back at this will be video number 2 of the museum. That can't.
Inside.
The inside part of the museum. This building looks like an old barracks they used to put troops in. They still have some of these at Fort Lee, Virginia, where I went to AIT. I stayed in one just like this, except it was white. Pretty cool.
Good stuff.
Okay.
So here we are on the inside of the museum, and we're just gonna start going around, and we'll try not to be too talkative because there's other people in here too, so we want to respect that, but we'll chime in as much as we can.
The real reason behind that is because this is the machine that makes the dog that.
That's
The
really cool.
machine
Yeah.
takes the little
You
metal
always
plate
see
and
beautiful artwork in the
hits
bases.
a little pivot back there, so it doesn't move while they imprint the name. It had nothing to do with the morbid thing that they said. Yeah, some other people said it was so you could just,
You know, we're kind of going through here a little backwards because of the people in here,
Yeah.
just to try to create a little bit of space.
Usually the museum people are very knowledgeable,
They're very
and
helpful.
they can be real chatty. They can talk you to death.
But that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
It's the right job for them. That's where they should be, sharing all their knowledge.
There's so much to see here. I mean, we're just trying to give you all guys a glimpse of what's going on. We
Yeah.
obviously can't go over every photo. and
Mostly
read
quick
everything.
overviews. So for those of you who are ever able to come and check it out, I definitely recommend. I love going to the different museums on the bases. And for those of you who aren't able to make it, I hope we capture some neat things for you to see. There's Rosie.
Rosie.
I love Rosie. I used to have a t-shirt, but it got old and faded.
Isn't that Marilyn?
No,
No.
that is, it actually has their names. That's Ingrid Bergman.
Oh, okay.
Ella
I see.
Raines.
Yeah. They
All beautiful women. I think back then you really, really had to be beautiful. There's no filters going
Yeah.
on. They were absolutely gorgeous.
No filters, huh?
No, some people live through filters
Yeah.
these days.
And then when you're seeing them in real life, they're like, no.
That's actually some mail over there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's neat.
And to think back then it was a lot harder for the soldiers because they didn't have the ability to text and email. So these letters were their way of communicating with their loved
Yeah,
ones.
I remember in basic training they didn't have phone media. It was all mail, and they had a mail call. And all the soldiers come out of the mess hall. We do mail call right after dinner. They love mail call. Mail call. Everybody comes running from their bunks.
That's the gift shop in there. So
Looks like a little gift shop.
sometimes you can get some really neat stuff
Yeah,
in the gift
there's
shops
some cool
too.
stuff in here.
I forget which one we got some really neat stuff in.
It's one of the smaller ones I've seen. But very nice.
I was put to work making 75 cents an hour. If that, I had been making about that much a day working, so I was real happy. The summer of 1940. I graduated.
Getting misty-eyed in here again too, thinking about the soldiers writing letters. I got like that in Israel when we went to
I went to
some of the
college up in
museums.
Tallahassee, FSCW, but it was just girls, so.
Not only did Mr. Driggers hire people to work here, he also found an unusual way to make sure they made it to work every day.
We bought an old hearse under the seats on the side, and fixed the places
Wow.
to sit under the windows. And then about 10
All the campaign medals and achievement medals.
Pretty cool.
So with about 4,000 civilians and more than 60,000 troops, Cape Lenny was often
Medal of Honor.
in Florida.
airdrop packages.
That's neat.
Probably rations. That's how they feed the troops behind the lines.
In 2015, the Florida Channel produced a special spoke with
There's that 82nd Airborne Division patch right there. Fort Bragg, North Carolina. Spent some time there.
And this is talking about the 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment organized and began their training at Camp Landing in October of 1942. And this just shows
What the typical soldier back then would look like.
the helmet, the trousers.
He's a paratrooper, so he's got his parachute and his reserve parachute. Ooh, he's a picture of airborne and air assault. Now, air assault, I can. Well, I think that looks like a glider. A glider wing, actually. I misspoke.
Like this is actually a dress that was made out of parachutes that were found in a field.
A parachute dress.
Yeah. Made by a French farmer's wife from 2 parachutes picked up from the field.
That's neat. We did ask the caretaker of the museum for permission to video, and he said absolutely. There's nothing in here classified anymore. It's all been declassified and debunked.
This is a Japanese soldier.
Yeah. South Pacific Japanese soldier.
Over here you have an American soldier. Pacific theater.
There's the steel pot. And the old canvas blister bags. Ammo pouches. All right.
Here's for the chaplains, the tools of the chaplain,
Oh,
and the chaplain kits.
very cool. So this is probably the chaplain and the chaplain's assistant. And we had a conversation with the chaplain and chieftain at the church, and he was saying he was a chaplain in the military, and his assistant was
An atheist.
an atheist. And
So
he
that's
said
gotta be hard.
he said it was hard working with him.
It's got to be hard anyway for the chaplains for the things they've seen and
Yeah.
deal with and counseling people and
Why would a chaplain's
Yeah.
assistant be an atheist? That
kind of makes no sense.
should be
to
like
me.
criteria. You got to be of faith.
God bless them for
Yeah.
what they do.
Their patience. Franklin Roosevelt. Ooh, I like the train. That's cool.
It's carrying all the equipment.
Oh yeah, railroaded. We used to do railroad operations at Fort Wainwright in Alaska. And when we deployed out of Fort Hood, we also had they had a big railroad yard there too. They rail this equipment to the ports, and then they go on a boat, and then they slow boat over to your deployed destination. And when your equipment arrives at port about 45 days later, you go pick it up, drive it off into the theater and start fighting.
The Army asked the generals who wanted to volunteer to work at a farm. And they would take, load them in the trucks.
That's neat. That was one of the first military vehicles I drove, was a 4-speed Jeep. They flip so easy. I drove a 4-speed Jeep down in Fort Bragg, my first duty
Occasionally
station.
you'll see some people still have those,
Yeah.
and it's very rare that you see them.
Reserved.
Buy things like,
Pretty neat.
you know, soap and
Telescope.
sodas and, you know, candy bars, what have you. The gentleman right there, Rupert Metzler, was a former POW here at the camp.
You can hear the
And he
guide
was
talking, so we're going to be
instrumental
quiet
in
through this
being
section.
the guy of what the camp was. He actually wrote a book about being a German POW. He was captured in 1944 in Belgium.
Camp Landing,
He had just,
1941.
he was in 11th grade in high school. The German officer showed up to
Actually,
the
the
high school.
bunks.
Yeah, it's like how the soldiers lived in the barracks in 1941.
Look, even that calendar is from 1941.
Oh my gosh.
So he had just finished his boot camp.
It's great that they
Wasn't his first
have
assignment,
these
as
artifacts.
infantryman guarding an
call them
artillery
preserved. Look at
position.
even an old
That
typewriter.
artillery position was overrun by American troops.
And a
He
wood
was
stove.
captured the first time he left.
That's an old potbelly stove they used to
His
call it.
first day out.
You could use it fuel or wood, either one.
Again, we're so thankful what the soldiers had to go through for us.
Wool blankets. Oh, that brings it all back. There's an old mess kit.
He was instrumental in, like, he went with the curators to the field where the actual camp was.
Here's some
He,
more artwork. You see some beautiful
They will
artwork.
buy sodas and beers at a PX. And this is an example of a beer bottle. Yeah, so what they would do, the Germans would do, these houses back here, these big ones, those are the bathrooms and the showers. So at night, the only lights were the posts outside of the perimeter. You see the little light posts. Everything else stayed dark, there's no lights in this. So during the moonlight, they bury the bottles, so only the bottom, it reflected and it gave them where the sidewalk was, for them to get the bathroom.
Pretty clever.
The camp had a church. There were two camps, here Camp Landing. One was originally the stockade, and here's a map. This was actually for soldiers who were misbehaving and stuff, here in Camp Landing. Later, it became the German Navy prisoner of war camp, because they wanted to separate the Army from the Navy.
Because they would be,
That we'd be fighting,
Fighting
just
with each
like,
other.
just like our Army and Navy today.
different services. We don't like you.
So here, actual POWs, there's an identification card for the POWs.
Army beat Navy twice,
They
by
were
the way,
given,
last 2 years.
examples of the postcards that were sent home. They were given instruction in English. They were fed very well. This gentleman, for example, and many others have, after the war, they're sent back to Europe. They were not allowed to return immediately to Germany. They had to stay in an intern camp in the European theater for a year before they were allowed to return to Germany. When he returned to Germany, he found he had little or no family left. So he gathered those he had, and with the money he made working the farms, the US government, when they released the prisoners, whoever had tokens, they would give them the money for them to take, because they earned it as doing the farm work. So, thanks to that money, he was able to return to here to Florida and settle with his family and start for the rest of his life.
Wow.
Is he still alive or is he?
No, he died in 2017. His grandson was here about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
What a story.
This was the MP unit that was guarding the camp, the 475th. Here are some examples of maps that the soldiers used in the European theater. This is actually the coast of Normandy and France. It's an actual map that the soldiers were using of the tactical maps. Western France.
Oh, Camp Blanding in color.
So pilots
Back in the day.
would use silk maps for maneuverability because if they get wet, if they have to bail out their aircraft. This is an example of our beautifully preserved silk map that the pilots would use.
Tent City.
And again, it was silk because there were survival maps. They used,
We visited a town in England, it was a printer manufacturer. Still around today, but during the war.
Remember that Foot Locker I had?
So this is an example of a map made with.
There it is.
Wow.
That's the exact one I had right
Yeah,
there.
and we just sold
Before
that.
the Google
Yeah.
satellites. Yeah, so they do a mosaic with different, every square you see is an
It
actual.
was in about the same condition too. Looks like a surveyor's tripod. Oh yeah, it's got a
Yeah.
plumb bob there and everything.
Survey. They're talking about the survey of landing.
So this part here is just about Camp Blanding itself. This is neat. Look at this old picture, and there's Kinsley Lake right in the middle, and it's so round. It's like perfectly round.
You can spend a whole day just looking at this stuff.
And then the campground is right on this lake. Not in this picture, obviously.
Here's some ID tags of World War II. Those are,
Yeah.
there's somewhat of a glare and it might be a little hard to see, but
There's a lot of glare, but I can't really do much with that. They got lighting on everything. I wonder if there's an upstairs.
here's some,
Yeah, it's really neat.
drawings, photographs of,
Look at these old, like, tents. And this was, look at these tents. You have 2 people per half tent. When I first came in the military, they would issue you a half a tent and 3 stakes, and then they pair you up with somebody who had half a tent and 3 stakes.
that's why you create such a
And
bond
you
with
get one
somebody.
pole and they get one pole. And so when you get paired up, you have a full tent.
Teamwork.
We did that in Reconnaissance Commando School at Fort Bragg. When they had Reconnaissance Commando School, it was just like this. It was a 10-day grunt course. And we stayed in tents like that for 10 days. Pretty neat. What do you think?
I'm just in awe of it all. I just get so teary-eyed because I'm so grateful for everything the soldiers have done for us then, now, and we're just blessed, and I appreciate all of our service members. Thank you.
So, Camp Blanding, after the war progressed, became the United States Army infantry replacement training center. So, the troops
Here's some good old photos. You'll see the lake back here.
That's a glare. There we go. Really cool.
Yeah.
there was only one infantry unit that was actually training.
Major General A.H. Blanding.
Each one of these towns had what year it was, when it was declared on the national guard, what campaigns they fought on, or battle places.
And this will conclude the indoor part of the museum, part 2. So now we'll head over to part 3 and do the other side outside.